It was another big week for Fed Reserve Chair Jerome Powell this week as the central bank moved to raise rates by another 25 basis points. But President Biden has, for his part, stayed out of the Fed criticism and stuck to his word on staying silent when it comes to central bank moves. This narrative is where we find Bidenomics today. Our Rick Newman joins us now. Rick, good to see you. Happy Friday, sir. Should he criticize the Fed?
I tell you what, this should not have been that controversial this week. I mean, it was only 1/4 of a point. We've seen way more than that several times during the last year. And yet I've seen more strident criticism of the Fed this week, and not from the loony left or the loony right, but from measured economists who are saying, what in the heck is the Fed doing? We have a banking crisis on our hands. And the Fed this week continued to do the very thing that some people say contributed or even caused the banking crisis, which is raise interest rates. It's been this super fast pace of rate hikes that has caused this interest rate risk and this interest rate differential problem at Silicon Valley Bank and some of the others. So the Fed went ahead and raised and kind of indicated we're not that worried about what might be a financial crisis. Maybe they know something we don't. Maybe they can look at data that says things are settling down in the banking system and we think this is blowing over. But it seems to me there's a reasonable case for the Fed to at least have just taken a pause for a couple of months and said, let's just see what happens with this banking crisis. We can always start raising rates later. They didn't do that. Now, there are some economists who say maybe that is the right thing to do. We still have inflation at 6%. But the Fed is in a mess right now. And I think that is really a pretty big story. They were obviously late reacting to inflation. They may have contributed to inflation in the first place with massive amounts of monetary easing in 2020 and 21. And now they're just kind of sticking their fingers in their ears about the banking crisis and saying, it's all about inflation. I don't know. We'll obviously find out in a few months. But this is a very nervy week for the Fed.
But could this potentially not be good for Biden, but give Biden almost a scapegoat here, blaming everything that's happening right now on the Fed, saying, hey, this isn't the result of our administration and the policies right now?
Yeah, I mean, in a sort of a reverse logic way, this could actually work out for Biden. Now he said at the beginning of his presidency, I am not going to discuss the Fed. I'm not going to talk at all about monetary policy the way President Trump criticized the Fed all the time when the Fed didn't do what he wanted. So Biden, and he hasn't done that. He has kept his word on that. He has said, I think, literally nothing about what the Fed has been doing. So I don't think you're going to see Biden turn around and say, well, don't blame me. It was the Fed that caused inflation and then reacted too slowly. But the timing, strangely enough, could work in Biden's favor. So if he does run for re-election, as he has indicated he plans to do, what's really going to matter to him about the economy is where it stands about a year from now, or let's say 15 months from now, which is when voters will be making their decisions on who to vote for in 2024. So in that 12 to 15 month period, we could get through the banking crisis. We could get to the recession that some economists think the Fed is causing by raising rates as fast as it is. And then we could actually be in a recovery phase by this time next year. So that assumes that if we have a recession, it's not too deep, it's pretty short, and that we come out of it. But it's possible that by this time next year, the economy is growing, some of this instability is gone. And I think importantly to a lot of voters, it actually feels better than it feels right now, because it does not feel good right now. It feels very unnerving.
If not, Elizabeth Warren may have an opening to challenge Biden from the left, but lots of time between now and then. Rick, thank you. Enjoy the weekend, sir.
Hi, guys. You too.